chosen ones, God handpicked you to defeat a narcissist. Hear these words like a trumpet blast shattering the silence of your doubts. If ever there were a time to claim the power simmering in your spirit, that time is now. No more cowering beneath someone else's twisted reality. No more allowing a toxic presence to overshadow the brilliance of your calling. The truth reverberates through every fiber of your being. You are chosen, divinely assigned, and armed with an authority that can topple even the most formidable stronghold of deceit. This is your revolution, your clarion call to rise. If you feel the spark of destiny in your chest, do not let it wane. Stand firm, claim your rightful victory, and bring an end to the illusions that have held you captive. If you're ready to awaken this ancient courage within, like this video, subscribe and comment 77 below so we know you're prepared for the transformation about to unfold. Chapter 1. The Invisible Battlefield. It begins in the hush before the storm, in those moments when you question your reality because someone else's narrative is louder than your own. A narcissist's tactic is often to spin illusions, to shape your perception until you doubt your every move. But this battlefield is not a place of physical warfare. It's an arena of minds, hearts, and souls. You, dear chosen one, are here to break these illusions. God did not handpick you to remain silent in the face of manipulation. You were singled out because there's something in your spirit, a fiery resilience that refuses to accept falsehood as truth. Every day you felt a subtle pressure, a quiet infiltration of your consciousness. Perhaps you've been told you're not enough, that your worth hinges on someone else's approval, or that your perspective is invalid. These tactics are not random. They are strategic tools of control. A narcissist thrives by distorting your sense of self until you feel stripped of your power. Yet no matter how skillful they cannot cancel the destiny encoded in your being. The whisper of divinity running through your veins is louder than any deception. God's hand on your life isn't about bestowing favoritism or arrogance. It's about equipping you to see truth where others see only chaos. When you look around and witness how many souls are lost in the labyrinth of manipulation, your heart begins to glow with resolve. You become a beacon, shining light into the murk of confusion. This is your mission, to reveal, to stand firm, and to end the cycle of abuse, for yourself and potentially for those who come after you. It's not an easy path, but it's one that you've been prepared for, bit by painstaking bit. Every time you refuse to let someone's poisonous words define you, even as the narcissist tries to weave a web of lies that seems impenetrable, you feel an undercurrent of power guiding you. It's more than just logic. It's the voice of your intuition merging with divine prompting. That voice urges you to remain steadfast, to refuse to bend to illusions. Though the fight is often unseen, the victory is anything but subtle. And when your moment comes, when you stand face to face with the manipulator who has shadowed your steps, you'll see that God didn't just choose you to survive. He chose you to conquer and to free yourself from a game you were never meant to play. Chapter 2. The Whisper of Divine Recognition. Late at night, when the noise of the world retreats and you finally have a moment to confront your own doubts, a subtle awareness blossoms. It's that quiet, yet insistent feeling that you were meant for something more than a life bound by someone else's control. This internal whisper is the signature of divine recognition, a gentle call from the heavens, reminding you that you've been singled out for a task beyond mere human. Understanding. You may have questioned why you've endured such turbulence in your relationships, why certain individuals seem destined to undermine your peace. But through each test, you've forged a new layer of inner strength. Where once you felt helpless, you now feel a brimming resolve. The cunning words that used to hook your insecurities now meet the shield of your growing clarity. In fact, every insult or manipulation that once infiltrated your soul now rebounds, exposing the cracks in the narcissist's facade. This whisper of divine recognition doesn't come with trumpets or fanfare. It arrives in the stillness, urging you to see past surface deceptions. As you tune into that sacred nudge, you might recall moments when you caught fleeting glimpses of a higher blueprint for your life. Memories of kindness, compassion, or creativity that somehow exist outside the narcissist's domain. These recollections are anchors, small but mighty, reminding you that you do not belong to the realm of manipulation. You belong to a realm where truth stands unshaken, where your soul's integrity is more valuable than any fleeting sense of approval from the person who seeks to dominate you. Yet stepping into this divine recognition isn't always an easy journey. You'll feel the friction between the old pattern of yielding to the narcissist's games and the emerging pattern of standing tall in your own light. This friction, though uncomfortable, is the crucible where your true self is refined. Imagine it as the forging of steel, intense heat, relentless hammering, and finally, the emergence of a blade sharpened beyond measure. In these quiet hours, as you lean into the whisper, you'll find the courage to claim your rightful inheritance. A life free from deceit, brimming with authenticity. When you accept that you've been chosen, specifically selected to break the chains that once held you, there's an inexplicable shift that occurs. You stop waiting for permission to be who you are. You seize the fullness of your identity, and that very act threatens to dismantle the narcissist's carefully crafted fortress of control. Keep listening to that sacred nudge, chosen one. It won't mislead you. Instead, it will guide you to the next level of clarity, the next revelation that cements your path to victory. Chapter 3. Unmasking the Illusion. Have you ever sensed that the narcissist in your life operates like a stage magician, orchestrating drama and mystery to keep you perpetually off balance? They masterfully manipulate appearances, weaving narratives that paint them as the hero and you as the misinformed or weak sidekick. But here's the truth that changes the entire script. God has positioned you to tear down the curtain and reveal the truth behind their grand show. Unmasking the illusion doesn't mean publicly shaming the narcissist or descending to the level of revenge. It's about recognizing the emotional sleight of hand they rely on and refusing to participate in their carefully crafted illusions. Their power shrivels the moment you refuse to be an audience to their spectacle. Once you see through the illusions, recognize how they play victim when cornered, how they exaggerate or twist facts to remain in control, their once formidable influence loses its edge. The path to unmasking isn't glamorous. It often requires confronting your own discomfort, delving into the triggers that cause you to doubt yourself. The narcissist thrives on feeding those insecurities, so dismantling them means facing them head on. It's like shining a spotlight into a dark room. The shadows scatter, and what remains is reality. Perhaps messy and complex, but infinitely more honest than the false narratives you've been fed. This process might bring you face to face with painful truths about the relationship. You might realize how deeply you compromise yourself just to keep the peace. You might unearth times you should have spoken up but stayed silent to avoid conflict. These realizations can sting, but they also serve as catalysts for your liberation. Each moment of clarity is a stepping stone leading you out of the maze of manipulation. God's hand in this journey is more evident than you may think. That uncanny strength you feel when you're about to confront the narcissist's lies, or the sudden flash of insight that helps you see through their deceit, that's a form of divine guidance. You're not expected to rely solely on your own resources. The universe itself seems to orchestrate timely encounters, essential revelations, and quiet confirmations that you're on the right track. It's almost as if invisible forces conspire to ensure you have the courage and the clarity to pull off the mask the narcissist has hidden behind for so long. As you peel back these layers, it might feel unsettling. You're disrupting a status quo the narcissists work tirelessly to maintain. Expect resistance, expect pushback, but also expect that each time you stand your ground, you'll experience a rush of empowerment that cannot be overshadowed. In truth, the narcissist's supposed power was always built on half-truths and manipulations. Now that you're glimpsing the raw structure, you see how flimsy it truly is. It's no match for a soul chosen by God to usher in a new era of honesty and liberation. Chapter 4. Wielding a Higher Authority. There is an authority greater than manipulation, an unshakable force that roots itself in truth rather than ego. It's not loud or domineering, but it resonates with a quiet power that no narcissist can uproot. You, dear chosen one, have been called to embody this higher authority. It's the spiritual backbone that allows you to stand firm in your convictions, even when the narcissist launches their most cunning assaults. You might wonder, what does this higher authority look like in practice? It begins with an unwavering sense of self, a posture of calm assurance that blossoms when you finally understand that no one's gaslighting or intimidation can rob you of your inherent worth. This isn't about arrogance or self-righteousness. It's about embracing that you are a conduit for divine justice, an instrument through which truth can flow to dispel deception. Each time the narcissist twists your words or tries to invalidate your perspective, you counter not with their weapons of blame or guilt, but with clarity and unwavering calm. You hold the line. You reaffirm what you know to be true, and you trust that God's hand will guide the outcome. This composure is not a sign of weakness. It's the mark of genuine spiritual authority. Just as a mighty tree does not tremble in the wind, you remain grounded in your convictions, carrying an inner certainty that cannot be manufactured by shallow bluster. The crucial shift happens within your heart. Once you truly accept that you've been handpicked for this moment, that your presence in the narcissist's life is no accident, you begin to see every challenge as a proving ground for your divine assignment. This mental and spiritual shift is like flipping a switch. Your interactions no longer hinge on emotional reactivity. Instead, they become opportunities to reinforce the boundaries that remind the narcissist they can no longer toy with your reality. Still, wielding this higher authority is not without a cost. You might lose people who benefited from you playing small. You might face criticism from those who misunderstand your newfound confidence, mistaking it for pride, yet remain unshaken. The moral and spiritual authority you carry is nurtured by an endless source, God's intention for your life. The road can feel lonely, but it glimmers with the promise of victory, of a release from the manipulative dynamics that once stunted your growth. In this phase, you're asked to trust yourself more than ever. Trust that each step, each boundary set, each moment you refuse to buckle stands as a testament to a power greater than your own. When you do so consistently, you confirm your role in this divine narrative. You are here to break cycles, to stand in for those who cannot defend themselves, and to herald a truth that endures beyond fleeting manipulations. Once you've tasted the potency of this higher authority, there's no turning back. You march forward, your head held high, your heart set ablaze by the knowledge that you do not stand alone. Chapter 5, The Miracle of Sudden Liberation. Sometimes freedom arrives in a slow trickle, each drop representing a small victory. Other times it breaks like a tidal wave, crashing into your life and washing away the false structures in an instant. God's timing is never late, and when He deems it so, liberation can unfold literally overnight. This chapter of your journey is the crescendo, where all your preparation, prayers, and private battles merge into a singular moment of breakthrough. You might sense it on the horizon like a gathering storm. Tensions escalate, truths reveal themselves in broad daylight, and the narcissist's web begins to unravel at an accelerated pace. Even they can feel the shift. They might lash out in desperate attempts to maintain control, but you notice something different about yourself. You're no longer triggered as you once were. The barbs that once skewered your self-esteem now bounce off the fortress of clarity you've built. Each exchange feels less like a confrontation and more like a final test before the curtain falls. This sudden liberation can manifest in countless ways. An undeniable piece of evidence that exposes the narcissist's lies, a long overdue stand you take that forces them to retreat, or a miraculous series of events that make it impossible for them to keep up the charade. However it arrives, the speed and intensity of it can be shocking, even dizzying. Yet buried beneath the whirlwind is a serene sense that this was always meant to happen. In the wake of this liberation, you may experience waves of elation, disbelief, and even a strange emptiness where the constant tension once lived. That void is not to be feared. It's the space where a new chapter is ready to take root. You might find yourself spontaneously forgiving the narcissist, not because they deserve it, but because you refuse to carry the weight of their actions any longer. True release is as much about your own soul's healing as it is about justice. Friends and family might marvel at how quickly events unfolded. They might say, "How did it all happen so fast?" But you'll know it wasn't fast at all. It was a lifetime of small awakenings culminating in a divine moment. Looking back, you'll see the gentle guiding hands, the synchronicities, the unseen interventions that lined up perfectly for you to claim your victory. It's a reminder that while you carry out your day-to-day struggles, God is orchestrating movements behind the scenes, setting the stage for the perfect instant when freedom bursts forth like dawn after a stormy night. And so you stand in the quiet aftermath, breathing in air that tastes of unfiltered truths. The narcissist's hold on you is no more. The illusions have been shattered, the manipulations exposed, and you, dear chosen one, emerge unbroken, your spirit poised to soar. This miracle of sudden liberation is not the end of your story, but rather the clarion note that signals an entirely new beginning. Chapter 6. Reclaiming the Stolen Self. Victory can feel surreal at first. After you vanquish the narcissist's influence, you step into a wide-open space once cluttered by their demands and manipulations. This fresh expanse of freedom might feel exhilarating and intimidating all at once. For so long, a portion of your identity was shaped in reaction to their chaos. Walking on eggshells, second-guessing your choices, suppressing your own desires. Now you face a question that thrums like a drumbeat in your soul. Who am I without the chains? Reclaiming the self that was stolen or overshadowed by someone else's tyranny is a deeply personal and often emotional endeavor. You might discover interests you shelved to avoid conflict or opinions you muted to keep the peace. Perhaps you realize a creative spark within you that was snuffed out by constant belittling. Reconnecting with these lost facets is like piecing together a mosaic that was long chipped and scattered. The result is nothing short of a masterpiece, a reflection of your authentic essence. But reclaiming yourself also means coming to terms with the wounds inflicted on your spirit. Healing is not a linear process. At times, old memories or triggers might surface, momentarily plunging you back into a whirlpool of doubt. Be gentle with yourself. Recognize that these echoes of pain are part of the scarring left behind, not an indication of current enslavement. Each time you confront these remnants and breathe through them, you take another step in solidifying your newfound autonomy. Meanwhile, the world around you shifts in response to your transformation. Friends and family notice the glint in your eye, the steadiness in your voice. Those who truly care will celebrate your liberation and cheer you on as you rebuild your identity. Others might feel threatened by your self-assuredness, especially if they thrived on your deference. So be it. This reclamation is not about pleasing everyone. It's about embracing your rightful place in the story of your own life. Within this process, divine guidance remains a constant. God didn't bring you this far just to watch you stumble through the aftermath. That sane, intuitive voice you relied on while dismantling the narcissist's illusions now leads you toward full self-integration. In prayer, meditation, or quiet reflection, you'll sense continued reassurance that you are on the right path. Each new day becomes an affirmation of your inherent worth, a silent celebration of how far you've come. So take your time. Relish the excitement of exploring new possibilities and learning to speak your truth without fear of reprisal. This journey of reclamation shapes you into the person you were always meant to be, unapologetically strong, endlessly creative, and deeply compassionate. And with every step, you verify that the freedom you fought for is more than just a momentary triumph. It's a transformative milestone on a road that still stretches ahead, shining with the promise of yet undiscovered horizons. Chapter 7. A New Dawn Awaits. As the first light of your unburdened future breaks across the horizon, you stand at a threshold that few dare to cross. You've been chosen not just to expose and defeat a narcissist overnight, but to inspire others to recognize the God-given strength coursing through their own souls. The echoes of your struggle have forged you into a beacon, brighter, bolder, and fearlessly honest about your experience. The dawn you see emerging now isn't merely the end of a long, dark night. It's the start of an era filled with possibilities you once believed out of reach. In the hush of this new morning, your spirit resonates with a quiet confidence that speaks louder than any victory shout. You sense the magnitude of your journey, how every challenge served as a stepping stone. Every scar is a testament to your unyielding nature. No longer shackled by the narcissist's influence, you stand free to chart a course guided solely by integrity, truth, and that divine whisper that singled you out from the start. It feels like stepping into an untouched landscape where your actions and choices will shape a legacy for those who come after you. Now you understand why God handpicked you. It was never solely about surviving abuse or merely exposing the manipulator. It was about unlocking a power within you that defies logical limits. It was about realizing how quickly illusions can collapse when met with unwavering conviction. And it was about stepping into a role that radiates courage, offering a living example to anyone trapped in darkness that their own deliverance might be closer than they dare imagine. This new chapter asks you to remain open and vigilant. As your horizons widen, more opportunities and challenges will test the mettle you've gained. Perhaps you'll feel called to guide others through their own battles against narcissistic forces. Maybe you'll devote your renewed sense of self to a creative endeavor that channels your experiences into art, writing, or music. Regardless of the path, what matters is that you move forward unafraid, trusting that each step brings fresh revelations to affirm you're still on the path of the chosen one. The road ahead is vast. Your scars are proof of your resilience, and your triumph stands as a monument to the miraculous power that intervened on your behalf. In the morning light of this new dawn, you can almost hear the universe whisper that this is just the beginning of something deeper, more profound than you ever envisioned. So take that first step. Let the glow of promised miracles guide your every stride, and know that in defeating the narcissist who once held you captive, you have awakened a force that cannot be silenced or overshadowed again. Yet even as you move into this uncharted territory, remember to nurture the sanctuary of peace you've carved out. Whether through daily reflection, prayer, or mindful stillness, allow space for your soul to breathe and integrate each new lesson. Sometimes clarity arrives not in loud proclamations, but in the gentle unfolding of one quiet morning after another. Maintain that connection with your inner compass, the spark of intuition that safeguarded you before you recognized its worth. If you remain true to its whispers, you'll never again stray so far from your own light. It's also worth recognizing that your journey does more than serve your personal liberation. It offers a blueprint for others seeking their own path to freedom. In ways both subtle and direct, your story will resonate with those who've lost themselves in toxic shadows, reminding them that redemption is not a fairy tale, but a choice, an action, a moment of courageous defiance that sets a new precedent for life. By standing in your own truth so bravely, you unconsciously give others permission to reclaim their power as well. Each conversation, each genuine smile you share, can be a lifeline to someone else drifting in the storm of manipulation. Even as the challenges evolve, your perspective now carries a warmth that outlasts any vestige of bitterness. You realize that hardship can be the crucible that purifies intent, forging empathy in the fires of adversity. The empathy you gain from your trials becomes a universal language that transcends differences, allowing you to connect with hearts that also yearn to heal. And as your compassion spreads, it transforms ordinary interactions into channels of grace, weaving a tapestry of hope that gently envelops all who come near. Take comfort that you're not walking alone. The realm of miracles you've stepped into teems with guides, visible and unseen, who align to sustain and challenge you in equal measure. At times, new mentors will arrive as if drawn by cosmic design. Old acquaintances may step aside, making room for relationships that echo with authenticity and shared purpose. Trust that the shifting of your social landscape, though sometimes unsettling, is guiding you toward ever stronger alliances that honor your divine calling. Look around at this new dawn and marvel at how the simplest pleasures glow brighter. The sunlight on your face, the conversation with a genuine friend, the sense of calm that settles when you lay your head down at night. Each of these small wonders becomes a testament to the greater wonder at work in your life. The months and years before might feel like a distant memory, but never forget how crucial those struggles were to your awakening. They served as the scaffolding for this moment, teaching you to stand firm in your integrity, even when the world seems stacked against you. And so, with a renewed heart and an unbreakable spirit, you press on. The horizon before you is ablaze with promise, each sunrise heralding a deeper revelation of your might. Above all, you carried the knowledge that your victory was never an isolated event. It was one spark in a grand design that continues to unfold around you. As you embrace the unknown with steadfast faith, each step you take further cements the miraculous truth you've lived, that when destiny calls and a brave soul answers, no darkness can hold back the dawn.